And welcome back to Life Leadership with Alex Urbina, right here in your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Today we're talking about bullying, and joining us in studio is Susan Contreras from the Domestic Violence Center. Thanks for joining us today, Susan. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
So tell me, what is bullying, and how has it evolved from when we were growing up? Because we were talking about when we used to get bullied, some of us, and I guess I have to admit I was a little bit of a bullier.
I think, growing up, I might have been a little bit of a bully myself.
Okay.
Yeah. Growing up in a family of 9, being the youngest, I kind of learned some traits from some of the other, my other siblings, being bullied a little bit. So I kind of carried that on to school and was a little bit of a bully myself, I think. So, a lot of times what happens is that you kind of bring your traits from home into school with you. So I think that's really where a lot of kids today are experiencing bullying at school, because it's more prevalent at school than it is at other places where kids would hang out and stuff, like at the mall or something. Then you're kind of looking at harassment as opposed to bullying. So there's a big difference there, yeah.
What's the difference? How do you define it?
Really, the difference would kind of be more a legal aspect. It's what the law, that's where the law kind of comes in and says, if you are someone that is repeatedly coming after someone and causing them some type of torment or something that makes them feel uncomfortable, and it's more at school, then that would be defined as bullying. Whereas if you are someone that's at, say, the mall or something and hanging out with a group of kids, and someone is causing you problems or something that doesn't happen very often, maybe once in a while, that's more of a harassment.
So it sounds more like someone that has the intent and that keeps going on and pursuing with an intent to put someone down or to belittle somebody, rather than it just happened or it was one time thing. Is that what it is? Right.
It's more of an intentional way to want to make someone feel discomfortable or uncomfortable in their own skin. A lot of times the bullies will go the extra mile to bring in some type of issues with say gender or something like that, and that's really where they're starting to cross the line.
Okay, so you said that you were bullied when you were
Yes, I was
in high school. Was it high school?
It was in junior high. It was 9th grade. It was junior high, and I actually skipped 8th grade, so I went from 7th grade in a private Catholic school to 9th grade in a public, huge LAUSD school. So that was a big, huge transition. I went from a class of 30 kids to a class of 600 kids.
Oh, wow. That's huge.
Yeah, it was huge transition. So I was very naive, and I was little and I was small, and, I hadn't developed yet.
So you made an easy target.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. I was a very easy target. I was very sheltered in life, so I didn't know about a lot of things. So when I got out there and there were all these kids that seemed twice my age maturity-wise, and the experiences they had were huge experiences, and I was like, I think, maturity level of a 10-year-old, even though I was 13 or 14.
Right.
I just didn't know about a lot of things. I got made fun of a lot. Absolutely. I was the butt of the joke. And I think the hard part was that I was consistently the butt of the joke. In our little group of friends, it was always me being the last one picked on and the one that at the end of the day, was made fun of.
Right. So there's that intention kind of coming back at you and coming back, right?
Yeah, yeah. Even when other kids were picking on other kids, it would all end up being turned around on me. Kind of like, well, we can always make fun of Wendy. That's kind of the last bet. I don't think any of this was conscious. I think they were just being kids, and I don't think it was like, oh, let's purposely make Wendy feel bad. It was just having fun to them. They were just being funny,
right? And
I just happened to be the funniest character in our group that they could, make fun of,
or the safest character in your group.
Yeah, because I didn't fight back.
Right.
Exactly, because I didn't fight back. I didn't, make fun of them in the same way. But it made me feel horrible. It made me feel, so sad and disconnected from the group that at one point I just didn't want to go to school. I just refused to get up to go to school.
Right. And that's one of the signs, actually, that parents can look out for is a kid that if their child is making up excuses, I'm not feeling good, I have a headache, my stomach hurts, whatever, if they're getting to school late, or if they get there really early is another sign, too, because then they're trying to get to their class or where they want to be before they have to cross paths with a bully.
And the stomach hurt, that could also be nerves too, right?
Exactly,
Like you're
yes.
nervous, you're thinking about it, you're causing a little bit of a stress,
Right.
you know, worrying about going to school and being harassed or being bullied. So now you got your stomach all in a knot and you're not feeling
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, and you're
right?
anxious.
Yeah.
Anxious. I felt a lot of fear.
Right,
Fear.
yeah.
I was really scared.
Absolutely.
Yeah, especially that it was going to progress, that it was going to get physical at some point, or that I was going to get pushed, or so
Right.
it was just a sad time in my life. I ended up not going to the same high school that all those kids went to purposely, and ended up creating new friends and going into a new situation. So I just, similar to what Bryce was talking about earlier, exited out of the situation so that I wouldn't have to deal with it anymore.
Right.
Purposefully.
Purposefully.
So you asked your mom to pull you out, or was it like you just rode it out till summertime and then you just went to a different school?
No. I purposely asked to apply for a magnet program that was an academic magnet program that was a different high school, so that I could purposely get bused to a different high school. Yeah. My main consideration for that was to not have to see the same group of girls. By the way, these were majority girls, consistently on a consistent basis.
Now, what I'm interested in is, how did your mom deal with it with you? What did she say? Do you remember what she said to you, or did you even tell her the truth?
I told her, I think at the very beginning, and her immediate reaction was to talk to the parents. That's what she wanted to do. She was like, well, I'm going to go talk to the parents. And that made it worse for me, because it felt even more like embarrassing. Like I couldn't handle the situation on my own. And, you know, there's a culture of what kids do at school, and it's what kids do at school, and
Right.
it's their culture. And when parents get too involved in that, then your respect or your credibility as a kid within the group gets taken away, because it's like you can't handle yourself with what's going on, because nothing was being really physically done to me, right? So this idea of what is bullying, and my ego was being hurt, or now I look back and it was really the way I was building my character was being hurt.
Can I stop you for a minute? The way you say it, like nothing physically was happening, it's almost like you're discrediting that mentally you being abused is less than physically being abused.
Right.
Right?
It's like a mental protection.
Yeah, the way you said it was like nothing physically was happening to me. It was just a mental thing. And, you know, when I do these trainings with the teenagers, and we're doing some emotional and cathartic release, and a lot of times I'll say, you know, raise your hand. And, you know, their eyes are closed, obviously, and I say, raise your hand if you've been physically abused or mentally abused, and the hands go up. A lot of the kids will say, you know what, being mentally abused or verbally abused was sometimes more painful than actually being hit.
Yeah, those scars
That's
don't
very
go
true.
away.
Yeah,
That's very true.
yeah.
Well, now looking back on it, I can see how it affected my character, and the way my character and my psyche of myself and my self-worth was established, which still affects me today.
Right.
So, yeah, so it was definitely something that hugely affected me. But I mean, in terms of how my mom reacted, I wasn't being physically hurt. So my mom wasn't like, oh, well, you've got scars, you know. But going to talk to the other parents didn't end up helping. It wasn't something that solved the problem. I think
Sometimes
it was one conversation.
kids will retaliate.
Yes.
Once you get adults involved too, you know, they'll make fun of you even more.
Right.
Or
Yes.
then it will become physical or something.
You can't
know.
fight your own battles.
Yeah.
Right.
You got to
right.
bring mommy to protect you, right? All
Exactly.
that stuff.
That's
So-
exactly
So it
how
starts
it
a
was.
whole nother level of bullying.
Yes.
Exactly. So
Yes.
it can get worse at some point.
And it did make me feel a little like, wait, I can't handle this? Why can't I handle this?
Right.
And I didn't have the tools to be able to handle it. I didn't know the tools to be able to handle it. But I wish at the time that somebody would have taught me the tools so that I could stand up for myself. Because that would have empowered me in the situation, and then would also taught me what to do for the rest of my life if I
Exactly.
find myself in the same situation. Because at
Exactly.
22 years old, I can't call mom to come, rescue me out of the situation.
Right.
Yeah.
What kind of tools, either from you or from you, because you're a life coach now.
I am.
And,
Isn't it
and
funny?
you know, you're crystal clear about, you know, people's opinions are their opinions, and we perceive our own reality, and we interpret people's words and turn them into things. Like
Right.
that's harmful, that's mean, that's rude. Or you can just hear it as, hey, that's just your opinion. And it doesn't hurt, it doesn't sting. You take that out through your perception, right?
We're filtering it through our perception.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know that now as an adult, but as a kid, kids don't know that. They turn words into things. Words mean something.
Right.
And at that time, especially in that age, they're hurtful. So what are some of the tools that you can teach some of the kids?
Well, some of the tools that we tell some of the parents and kids is really to just kind of walk away and to avoid it doesn't really stop the bullying from happening. So then at that point, we would have them attend some workshops like you're talking about that you present and teach kids some of the tools to be able to handle things more on a mental level as opposed to having a parent step in and be their protector, because they can't be there with them 24/7. Or like you had stated before, at 22, you can't call up mommy and say, you need to fight this battle with me or for me.
Right.
Well, I love that tool, and it's one of the tools that I use when I coach other people, and we call it what you focus on, you create more of.
Yeah.
You're saying walk away, and it's really just turn your back on whatever it is that you can't control or the things that you don't want. The more you keep focusing on it or resisting it, you actually create more of it. But if you just turn your back on it and focus on what you're committed to and what you do want, all of a sudden that stuff starts to fizzle.
Right.
They're going to actually go find, and I hate to say this, it's kind of sad, but they're going to actually go find someone else to bully, but they won't be bullying you.
Right.
That's a great way. All right. Well, you're listening to Life Leadership with Alex Urbina right here on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
Come